Swab, make me look a little tanner.
Your racket is so
better, you know?
crooked. You're overdoing the crookedness.
No, you can't do that.
If I do that, she'll look even tanner.
No, don't do that to
Oh, I
me.
don't look that tan though. I feel like I'm fading. That's what we should do. Like we should do like the 50 Shades of Nicole. We could go through like
Through the year.
throughout the year.
Like a flip book.
Yeah.
This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 92 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
The word is up. All right.
We are.
2 rackets, a Marketeer. I'm super excited about the Marketeer. I'm thrilled about it. That was my find, too.
It is your find. It's super interesting because you like giggled. You were giggling as you were watching it.
I thought it was, well, we'll get into that. All right. Number 1 is iBuying an untested novelty. And I'm specifically pulling this one section out of Brad Inman's article, which we'll post. We'll post it on YouTube if you're interested in going and reading the entire opinion piece. It is the scourge of untested novelties in real estate.
What does scourge mean? Do you know the definition of that?
Just want to make sure I said it right.
You said
I've
it.
been working on my reading game.
As far as I know, you said it right.
When I find a word that I don't know, I do the pronunciation on Google and the definition.
See, the problem is though, is that we've tried using those
makes
pronunciations
reading
before.
longer.
Oh, so much longer.
Longer.
I feel like that's, I don't know. Maybe, you should do like the vocal. I think they have vocal people, like they could speak the word for you. Remember we tried to do the enunciation that one time? What was our word?
And you thought it was wrong, but Google's never wrong.
No, that was wrong. We were saying it wrong the whole time. What was that word? Remember last year?
All right.
Was so long.
Is iBuying an untested novelty? That's the section of this article I'd like for you to scroll down. That's the section we're going to be commenting on in this racket. I'm going to actually, it's so short, I'm just going to read the whole thing. Should I do that?
This is going to be fun.
This will be fun. All right, let's see how badly I butcher it. In May of 2017, Zillow gave Inman the exclusive news on its iBuyer test in 2 cities, Vegas and Orlando. We gave the story a big splash. This is Brad's words. Gave the story a big splash because it showed signs of Zillow morphing into the transaction. Okay? Signs of Zillow morphing into the transaction. Our instincts were correct.
Of course they were.
They were correct. But at the time, a Zillow exec taunted me. Why the big deal? It's just a test. Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
iBuying is not a novel idea. This is all Brad's words. Investors have always bought houses, true. But the scale of the iBuying movement is untested. Suddenly, these private equity tech duets are spending billions of dollars buying houses. Boom or bust, no one knows yet.
No one knows yet.
Private equity, but anyway.
Have you ever talked to anybody that's actually sold their house that way? I would love to. That would
I
be
talked to somebody in New York recently. This table's very wobbly.
It's always wobbly.
Talked to somebody in New York that actually bought their house from Zillow.
Bought it from Zillow.
He's an agent.
But I'm wondering.
And he bought the
listing?
Zillow-owned house.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about the other end. Like how easy is, because they're obviously claiming that this iBuyer process is going to be, easy.
Well, yeah, let's break this down a little bit. So Brad's saying iBuying is not a novel idea. And we agree. If you've watched The Real Word, we agree. Like, the telephone polls, we buy houses, just investors sending out mail or doing whatever they can to connect with attorneys. Like all that, local investors, flippers, whatever you want to call them, that's been going on. Agree with you. And he says, but the scale of the iBuying movement is untested. This is where I'm calling racket. I completely disagree that the scale of iBuying or offering, in a sense, Zillow offers. I'm going to just focus on Zillow. That is not untested. I want to go back to last week's show when I said a request for a Zillow offer in the 19 territories, the 19 regions or cities that Zillow offers has launched. A request for an offer comes in every 1.25 seconds. So what's not untested is that at scale, if you offer the opportunity to buy somebody's house with no strings attached, despite the fact that it's at a massive discount, at scale, Zillow offers will generate a ton of leads. Zillow doesn't have to win at iBuying. They have to win at generating leads for a fee or a referral fee or whatever.
Right.
And that game, they are not only winning, but they are running away with it.
Right. Absolutely.
So to me, iBuying doesn't have to work at scale because its purpose is already working at scale. They may
the
even
purpose for Zillow for sure.
and we covered this. They may even continue to lose a couple thousand per house that they personally iBuy and then resale, but it's a trade-off for all of the other leads and income that they're going to generate by being the one that hands the real estate community the lead.
Right. So I guess it depends on how you're looking at the iBuyer platform. Are you looking at it being successful as a purchase, or are you looking at it being successful as a lead?
I'm looking at it as being successful for their business model.
Right.
And I think long term, that's what's
Well, you're talking about Zillow.
Yeah, I'm just talking about Zillow because he's talking about Zillow here.
Yeah.
Hero is iBuying an untested novelty. Okay, well, I think for Realogy, it is because they haven't shown us any data, even though today, for example, they just announced a revamping of their iBuying program for 5 different brands, Better Homes and Garden, ERA, Century 21, Coldwell and Sotheby's, right?
Yep.
So they're revamping their program, but they haven't shown us, and I haven't, and this is just Denver and Dallas with Realogy, right?
Yep.
But they haven't shown us their ability to generate an offer every 1.25 seconds. Zillow has scale, mass awareness in what they're doing and providing to the consumer. So if you just left it as Brad is, and I love Brad.
We love Brad.
I love that email he sent us that one time. You guys are doing a great job. Appreciate you, Brad.
Did I receive that email?
Yeah, I think I forwarded it to you.
Oh, awesome. So it went to you.
And no, I think it did go to both of us.
Okay.
You probably didn't read it.
Thanks, Brad.
Is iBuying an untested novelty? For some, I think, yeah. I think when you're looking at Zillow's business plan around this, absolutely not. And he's right at the very end. He says, boom or bust, no one knows quite yet if iBuying is going to be the way people transact. I'm pretty certain it's not because people want the most for their money.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that 5% of people, 10%, 15% maybe over time, will find this useful in their real estate transactions over a period of their life.
Potentially. Yeah.
All right. Bracken, anything else on the
No,
iBuying?
I think you've covered it.
All
I think
of it?
it's well for the most part. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of excited to see how it all goes. I mean, EXP is sort of launching theirs now.
Everybody should be launching.
They should. I mean, we've been talking about it for months that we should be putting it on our site. It's definitely more of a lead generator because I can't imagine, unless you're in like dire straits or you're just wanting to get rid of the property, like ever really sort of going that route. Yep. But I mean, investors are getting rock bottom prices on properties all the time. So it could be. I'm actually just really curious about the process because the iBuyers, as much as their main business is to generate the lead, I feel like the way that they're presenting it is to make it as smooth as possible, which obviously is what's getting the sellers to actually click the button.
Yeah,
I'm just curious what that actually is like on the other end. Like, is it really as easy as they're saying?
In terms of the transaction?
Yes.
There's going to be some speed bumps there for sure. They're using local contractors and all this kind of stuff. But what is not a speed bump and what is not untested, this is about as untested as air. Zillow's ability to generate leads better than the real estate community.
For sure.
All right, racket number 2.
Oh, look, it's kind of an interesting little...
I think it's a fantastic segue. Home flippers see lowest returns in 8 years as costs rise. You could argue that iBuying platforms like Zillow or Open Door are essentially home flippers to some degree.
For sure. I think that you're also finding, though, too, that banks are actually getting a little bit smarter, too, that they're now fixing up some of their homes in order to capture some of the money that they were losing when they were selling them to flippers. So
yeah, because paint can do a lot.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even just like fixing a toilet or, I mean, it's...
So this is a really great, fantastic clickbait headline. Thank you,
really
CNBC.
is.
We're going to steal that from you. But let's dig into the numbers. Investors flipped 59,876 single family and condos in the second quarter of this year, so 2019, which is down just over 5% compared with the same period a year ago. And it defines a flip as a home bought and sold within a 12-month period. So anything outside of 12 months doesn't count. Gross profit on a flip was $62,700. That's gross profit, which then translated to about a 40% return. 39.9,
which went down from
which was down,
which is nothing.
In the second quarter of 2018, it was almost 45%. So almost 5%. So 5% to a flipper is important
for sure. Yeah. Well, 5% on both ends. It looks like there's 5% fewer being flipped and 5%. Yeah.
5% on your total return compared to quarter 2 of 2018. I think there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. And the reason, going back to the last racket, why I think every broker should have their own iBuying platform is because Zillow is going over time going to show you what their ZO margin is. You're going to be able to figure it out. And if you get into that margin, here's our instant offer, here's Zillow's instant offer, maybe here's open doors, there's the 3 options, or number 4 is we can list your house.
Right.
Same thing here, why this is going to get more competitive. I think local flippers have had the easy route to accumulating these homes that are going to sell at a discount faster than anybody else over the last 20 years. Over the next 20 years, they're just going to have more competition.
So much more competition.
Whether it's an iBuyer or whoever to buy that home, which cuts into the gross profit of $62,000.
For sure. Absolutely. Right? Well, especially if Zillow is buying them and then selling them even at a loss. I mean, it's
to get the data, to get the lead flow.
No, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
It's messing their game up, like those really romantic flippers. Like Zillow, you're out here taking a loss on this.
Yes,
like you're not even trying to make money, and then they get emotional about that.
Yes. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of flipper you're talking about too. I mean, there's flippers that are just doing it, at mass amounts, that are just, using the same tile. And then there's others that are really sort of using the house as their canvas.
And there's different ways to flip. Like you're talking, like there's some that are buying a lot at once to make sure that they get 5 to 10% return and move on and just keep it moving, almost like wholesaling or something.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, 5% return is just like
that would be brutal. So now if it goes down 5%, you're really
losing. Yeah.
Which is. There's a lot of ways, we've talked about this in the show, there's a lot of ways you can lose on flipping. What I think most flippers should do, and this is what Zillow's doing. Let me see if I have this in my notes, actually. They covered this a couple weeks ago. They have a buy box. Yeah, they're buying within their buy box. So that's a price range. They're talking.
Well, that's smart. You have to. I mean, if you're a real flipper, you have to have some sort of strategy.
They're basically, and this is, it depends on the market, but she had said, somewhere between 300 and 500 typically in a given city, depending. That's where their buy box will fit into. Certain amount of bedrooms, certain amount of bathrooms.
Of course, has to. Square footage.
Like here's an example. She said, if the house has solar panels, it's an automatic no buy.
Oh, I'm sure.
That disqualifies it from Zillow wanting to buy it.
I don't doubt that at all. I think what is interesting here that we need to pull away from the headline is the cost. I think regardless of flipping, new construction, we're seeing it in our development too. Our developers are having to sort of up their why am I blanking? When they get their, you give your sheet.
Allowances?
Thank you. Allowances. I think if you're in the flipping game or getting into the flipping game, make sure you know what those costs are, because they are constantly going up with these tariffs. I mean, countertops alone, to get your hands on some quartz is a little bit more expensive than it was. So, I mean, you have to always make sure you know those costs on the other end too. So that's it.
Know your game.
You gotta.
All right, we've got a Marketeer of the week. It's not Zillow this week. It's not
not
Apple.
phone.
So it's not some big company, some public traded company that can just dominate the little peeps. This is, I'm not even going to call him a little peep. I think he's a dominator from what I can see in the real estate industry.
Where is he? He's in South Carolina?
He is. He's in Greer, South Carolina. Bob Tompkins found him on the RETV channel. Shout out to T. Macy and the boys and girls running that channel.
Yeah. I mean, and Tim's, was it Tim? It wasn't Tim. It was the other gentleman that shared it.
Colin.
Yes, I love Colin.
Colin.
He's a jolly folk, and he shares well. I think that he loves seeing other people being successful.
He's a great sharer.
Great sharer.
So we got to play a little clip of this video. You know,
hopefully, my only concern is the music.
Colin's words were,
we'll be shut down. Zillow will suck us
just play a little
off.
clip at the end. They're not going to shut us down.
Okay.
And I wonder if he actually did, to your point, get the song.
Yeah, because it's so the
copyrighted,
song
or are people
was
just ignoring that?
brilliant.
The
I
song was
mean,
brilliant.
I don't even.
It brought me right back to what grade would that be? I don't know.
TGIF. I mean, that's elementary school,
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah.
like third, fourth
It's like
grade.
popcorn. Can I stay up for
Popcorn.
all the TGIF shows?
Yes, because I think it started at 7. I think that stuff
Yeah.
started at 7 and it ran until about 9, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Full House.
We had a finished basement. Me and my sister used to jam on the Full House and all those shows down there.
I just like popcorn. I mean,
Popcorn.
so super random that's what
Always
it
would have
reminds me of
popcorn.
Popcorn. The
Reminds me
song.
of popcorn. You know, because like you want your popcorn fresh and be going in for the first couple
yeah, no,
grabs.
TGIF was
as the
amazing
song's
as a
kicking
child, for
off.
sure, for sure. Yeah.
So I think, listen, it made and I'm gonna be nice about this, Bob. It made a super average home really worth watching. We've been having a lot of trouble on our end, Bob.
I mean, I feel like there were some staging things we could have done in that house, but
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But but I didn't even notice them because I was so wrapped up in the song. And
and
so
him. And him.
yeah, like he's gonna get tons of awareness out of this, especially locally. But we're having trouble with like, how do you make a listing video, whether it's 30 seconds, a minute, whatever? How do you make a listing video of a property engaging, exciting to watch, especially if the house is, let's just face it, your average middle of the run? Like, do you like to just look up $250,000 homes, like if you're a consumer and not in real estate like us freaks?
Yeah.
Or do you like if you're just a consumer, to look at the $10 million walkthroughs of like this closet that's bigger than all your bedrooms put together, right? People like the eye-catching stuff. So Bob did a good job of taking the average home and keeping me throughout the video. I've watched it 3 times.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because I feel like on the flip side of that, because I watched a video, there was another video that I sent you a couple days ago, someone in our market that had done the same thing, like she was in the video. And I found it to be kind of distracting. Like you almost are the people concentrating too much on the people?
Acting, yeah. Especially if the acting's bad, then it's like, now I'm just watching bad acting.
Like, do you remember like the color of the kid's bedroom in that video?
I knew it needed a paint job. I remember that. Yeah.
It's interesting if like people are actually looking at the house. I mean, it's obviously bringing awareness to the address. The address is in the copy.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job for a seller. I'm just curious.
And he's doing a great job for his brand
for
too.
sure. That's just, I'm just curious. Like I'm just being devil's advocate if it's too distracting for the house. But regardless, it was great. Byron hates home videos, so the fact that he giggled and enjoyed it, and he actually wanted this to be our Marketeer, like
it was all about the song, like featuring the kitchen with the writing.
Yeah.
It was all good.
It was all good.
All right, good job, Bob.
Congrats.
If anybody, even from the RE TV community, anybody from anywhere has a great Marketeer of the week that we should be aware of, please send it in. All the links to everything we talked about, 2 rackets, this Marketeer, are in the description on YouTube. So if you're listening, go over to YouTube. That's the best place to find all this stuff.
And hopefully Bob doesn't make us take our video down.
Yeah.
Because of the song.
Bob.
Well,
why
not
would
Bob.
Bob make us?
YouTube would.
Put the song in there. All right, guys, keep it real. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a heart, I hear the hold on to. Everywhere you look, everywhere there's a love of somebody who needs you. When you're lost out there and you're all alone, life is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look, everywhere you look. Everywhere